the 27th up until the present day, and today's May 3rd. Well, it's May 4th, but May 3rd, I guess. So, yeah, so for everyone out there who wants to know what's going on in the Western animation world, we have some very interesting news about things going on. And it's Treat Seeker's first day here, so... Oh, it's May 3rd. It's still May 3rd in some parts of the world. For here, it turned May 4th 15 minutes ago. So let's get your first story about what's going on in the world. Because we have... there's a pretty good mix of good stuff going on. This has gone on in the past week. Has gone on in the past week. Which is why you all get to experience it. Okay, first up. Just a quick update on stuff that's going on with Disney XD, one of the channels that I honestly was not having much faith in for a while, but recently has started to get a lot of attention back. Okay, first story here is basically about the upcoming Tron Uprising cartoon, which, if you're familiar with the Tron series, is basically after the first one, but before the recently released Tron Legacy movie comes out, and it's going to be, from what I've seen from all the production sketches and how it's put together in the trailers for it, it's going to be a really visually impressive film, or series actually, that you're probably going to enjoy watching a lot, even if you're not a big Tron fan. It has an equal blend of both hand-drawn and Flash and CGI graphics to it that are integrated pretty well, actually. So there's that's something I recommend to watch because, like I said, about the past, ever since Disney XD existed, it's had almost no reason for me to value it, to think that it was going to have any goodness in it. But good things. I watched Motor City last Monday. That was worth it. That was definitely worth watching. It had equal blend of action with familiar enough plot, but it was not so familiar that it felt too tired. Like, they gave it a flair and flavor that we would enjoy it, like really enjoy it. And I think that no one I've talked to has had a bad thing to say about it beyond the fact that it feels like a repetitive plot. If anything else, one minor nitpick on it, it's just that Motor City's action is very fast, so you can't always see what's going on, is the only problem. There's almost no control, like no held shots on camera for longer than about 5 seconds. And when the action scene starts, the camera is consistently moving around. And so that's something that you wouldn't want to watch if you get motion sickness. But aside from that, I recommend watching that and the upcoming Tron series because Disney XD's been trying their hand at stuff and actually made it seem like it's worth watching stuff on Disney XD for a change. And you know what? That's a good thing. That is a very good thing. Okay, we have another story here that is coming at you from good old land of Ireland. Alright, here's our next story, which is about a series in development that I only recently heard about. Double Z Productions and FlickerPix are setting up for a full production on their new series Zig and Zag, created by Ciaran Morrison and Mick O'Hara. This is an Irish production, actually. It's planned to run for 26 episodes, and each episode being 11 minutes, so it's like half an episode, fill up a 30-minute time gap. The series will follow twin alien brothers Zig and Zag, who, after years of enjoying the finest trash Earth has to offer, decide to return to planet Zog. However, a disaster space road trip, they crash land in the middle of humdrum suburbia. The lovable duo wreak havoc on the suburbia with insane inventions, death-defying stunts, invisible cats, and robot supermodels. Interesting premise for it. I'm not blown away by what I'm reading right away. It seems like it would be a good time waster. Not as ambitious as something like Invader Zim, but not so forgettable as something like, I'm trying to think of a better comparison. Something that takes place in a garbage heap, I guess, would be The Buzz on Maggie, which almost no one has anything good to talk about. So there's no nothing bad I can say about it. I don't think I'd be following this one specifically, but I do think it's worth noting that Ireland, who I most specifically know for working on films such as The Secret of Kells and The Secret of Kells and what is it? The Triplets of Belleville, or at least the production team is based on there. Ireland often does work as secondary productions. Like they did some of the work also on the All Dogs Go to Heaven movie and some of the later Don Bluth films as just production work, just outsourcing. So to see that they're actually getting some work in actual original content is so. But yeah, Ireland specifically has been getting a bit more work in terms of actual animation. So that's always a good thing. Now, on to Disney, something that all of you are all excited about because we just got done watching Disney double features. Okay, this is a really bare-bones story, but I still think that it's something that we should know about. Okay, you guys all know these guys. You know, Ron Clements and John Musker. John Clements and Ron Musker. Here is the link. Who were basically the co-directors who worked together or worked on films like The Little Mermaid and... Actually, I have the story right in front of me here. They listed The Great Mouse Detective, Little Mermaid, Aladdin, Hercules, Treasure Planet, and The Princess and the Frog. They're working on a new film. Apparently, these two guys are working on a new film together, a new hand-drawn film for Disney that we have no idea about because they did not make an announcement about what it is, what it's about, what's going to happen. Nothing. So there's no updates on that. Just that they're making a movie. They're just making a movie. And Treasure Planet is not good. It has some redeemable parts to it, but it fails very heavily. For the few parts that it does right, the parts that it doesn't do well kind of overwhelm it. Sorry if you like that film, but it's not that good. And yes, they are doing a Disney film. The only clue we have as to what this film may be about is that there's talks about what is it? A film called The Name Game is a possible 2D animated film that may be directed by the pair with an estimated release date of 2014. This is based on previous knowledge that people had about upcoming films for Disney. So this may be the film that they're working on called The Name Game, but I guess we'll never properly know. Well, we'll find out eventually, but for now, all we know is that expect a new hand-drawn Disney film about the year 2014. So about 2 years from now, we'll have more information about it. So keep your ears open for that. Further than that, the news breaks on that because we like us some hand-drawn animation. And there's absolutely no reason to cut back on it just because CG is popular now and it can do a lot of stuff that hand-drawn can't do. Doesn't mean we should get rid of hand-drawn either. There is a lot to offer in that medium. And Mad Shadow is back. Hand-drawn is nice. Alright, here's the next story. This one's coming at you from Fox, actually. This is about a possible film being produced by Fox Productions, and it is based on the children's book called Hero's Guide to Saving Your Kingdom, which is basically about when 4 princes all get kicked out of their castle by their respective princesses, like 4 separate kingdoms, 4 princes all kicked out by not being manly enough, by not being a good enough prince for their princesses. So when they're all kicked out, they come together and they create kind of a group to stop an evil plot that threatens all their kingdoms in a sort of fantasy villain sort of way and become the true heroes they were meant to be. That sounds pretty similar to other films we've seen from the past, like How to Train Your Dragon comes to mind. Also, Brave, it sounds similar to Brave, or at least the premise for Brave so far, but also kind of Shrek in the whole let's deconstruct fairy tale ideas. But I don't know much about the original story, so perhaps it's a lot more clever than it initially sounds like. Because when you hear it's set in a fairy tale, you think, oh crap, another Shrek ripoff? That we've had a lot of. We had stuff like Hoodwinked and Fairly Never After, and a couple other ones whose names are too unimportant to remember properly. There was we like deconstructions, and I do like the idea of the princes being kicked out of their kingdom by their princesses because they're not proper enough princes. So if they toy with that enough, then I think it would be interesting to watch. So there was some bad Shrek sequels that came out, and we don't mention Hoodwinked 2. The first one wasn't too bad. Yeah, Hardy's right. That the first Hoodwink wasn't bad. In fact, it was pretty good. It had a really limited budget, and the trailers kind of made it seem like it was going to be yeah, but go watch it, and it actually is not bad. It's actually quite enjoyable. Probably for more sly humor than you may initially mark it for. Unfortunately, not all the Shrek ripoffs were that successful, or that clever, or that not obvious in being a total and complete ripoff. So that's a possible film coming up. Look forward to that film of How to Save Your Kingdom, which looks really interesting. And finally, one last story for the night. And this makes me really happy. This is my favorite story that I've heard throughout the whole week. I remember how we've been pimping out the Aardman film Pirates, Band of Misfits, that was recently released. Well, we kind of got the results back on that, about how well the film's been doing. And from every source I've read, both international and American, it's been doing really well. I love the title of this. The article is specifically called Booty Call. Aardman's The Pirates makes $11.4 million. We'll hold the world hostage for $11.4 billion. And which is a bit of a surprise because Claymation seems to be a bit more niche market, and even though it's less expensive than CG or hand-drawn animation, it also tends to bring in less money. But it's been getting a lot of positive reviews and doing really well at drawing audiences in, so I'm really glad about that. And I will be seeing this as soon as is physically possible. And all of you should too. If you haven't gone to see it, please go see it. I've heard the only bad things I've heard about it, and again, this is secondhand information, is that it revels in pop culture-ness. The same way that films like Shrek or you can think about a modern Disney example. Just films that feel like they're piling on the pop culture references too much. So there's not really a self-restraint in this film on that. Like, they indulge in slang talk or just makes it feel like it was produced in 2012. But not over the top, is what I've heard. Just everything else you expected about it. Great animation, amazing characterizations, just fun story and good action. All that's there. No reason not to go see this. I'm glad to see that people are going to see this in its initial run so far, so please include this in your list of movies to see. The Avengers? Fine, go see that. The upcoming other superhero movies? Fine, go see as well. But make time to see Pirates, Band of Misfits. Pretty please. I'm not paid by Aardman whatsoever. I'm just really excited for the movie. But yeah. And yes, it does have David Tennant in it, because David Tennant is awesome! And he will continue to be awesome for as long as he's around, because he makes a great Doctor from what people told me. But I'm not going to get into that because I'm not a Doctor Who fan, and I have absolutely no reason to start siding with people on their Doctor Who fandoms. So you got that? I'm not getting into your Doctor Who-ness. But I will be saying this. And I actually read an article about from the director of the Pirates movie, who was talking about how the reason that stop motion is so valuable is because of when we're younger, we have this sense that anything can come to life, the kind of Toy Story-esque vision that what is initially an inanimate object can be brought to life through our imagination. Stop motion is the only medium anymore that allows that to actually happen. You take a physical object and you move it bit by bit with your own personality and you make it come to life, as opposed to hand-drawn where you have to sketch it frame by frame, or with CGI where it's really pristine and really crystal clear, but it's also too sterile at times. You can look at it and say, yeah, they made that in a computer, and there's no wonder in it anymore. There's a level of amazement, there's a level of awesomeness that comes from watching a stop-motion film. You can't replicate it in the computer, you can't make shortcuts with it, you have to make it the old-fashioned way. And that is why you should go see this movie and any other Aardman films they make, because they use the medium to the best of their abilities. What do you prefer, Noah? Claymation or Nightmare Before Christmas style? Oh, you mean the difference between claymation, basically being stuff that you mold it out of single material, plastine, or where you take models and you move bit by bit. I'm gonna have to side with the Nightmare Before Christmas style because it's cleaner, I guess, but also has a lot more personality to it. Clay is crumbly, and you can do a lot with it, but I don't like it as much as the I guess we'll call it puppetmation, because you're taking a single figure and you're moving it about, as opposed to claymation where you're taking a single figure, but it's much more durable and it's a lot more liquidier. But that's just my personal preference, just for me. Yeah, let's just call it stop motion. Let's call it what it is, stop motion. Oh yeah, stop motion encompasses all things that you move frame by frame in order to move. Awesome!